We're getting closer to NXT takeover war games. Teams are getting selected. Teams are gaining advantages for the war games match. We're going to get all into it right now. So stay tuned. This is your NXT review. What's up, Maniacs? My name is Mex. I'm a wrestling fan, a wrestling enthusiast, a WrestleManiac, if you will. And today we are discussing NXT. A really decent show all around, to be honest. There wasn't any like real negatives or not really things that were dragged out. You know, everything was kind of good, punchy, made a point, and we're moving ever closer to War Games, which is next weekend. So very, very much looking forward to that. We are going to discuss everything that took part on the show today. So if you want to hear what's happening in terms of the team selections and who won the advantage for War Games matches, make sure you stay tuned. And right here at WrestleManiac UK, I discuss everything that is WWE and AEW. So if this sounds like the place for you, make sure you hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell so you get notified each and every time I drop a new video, and there's loads of new videos coming soon, so you guys are going to want to subscribe. Hit the like button as well. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into the review. And the show started with Ember Moon versus Candice LeRae. Indy Hartwell was on ringside. Ember Moon, Candice LeRae, always going to be a brilliant match. On paper, you would have known this was going to be a brilliant match before it even got started. I think maybe the pacing at times was a bit off, but these ladies were putting in everything. They were putting everything and really trying to tell the story. It was clear that Candice was the heel, wrestling like a heel, and Ember was the face here. We had Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai come down from the entranceway, just giving Ember Moon, something more to think about. So now there was Ember Moon. Now there was Indy Hartwell, Dakota Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez all in Candice LeRae's corner, if you like. So yeah, that is something for Ember Moon to think about. And the match ended where it looked like Ember Moon was going to go up top for the Eclipse. Indy Hartwell kind of pulled Candice LeRae out the way, sort of thing, and she got eclipsed instead. That move is still brilliant to me. I still love it. And yeah, amongst all that, Candice LeRae gave her the Wicked Stepsister, which is like a weak stomp. I think the move could be a good finishing move, but she needs to put like more stank on it, basically. Really drive the person into the mat, or maybe the person receiving it needs to sell it better. I don't know. But yeah, Candice LeRae got the win in the end. And just as it looked like the hounds were going to, kind of descend upon Ember Moon fled from the ring, and Toni Storm came out. And Toni Storm has obviously been kind of in an alliance. She tagged with Ember Moon with her last week. But Ember Moon looked at Toni Storm like, oh, thank God you're here, sort of thing. They kind of said to each other, like, let's get into the ring and get these guys. Toni Storm nodded. Ember Moon went ahead of Toni Storm, and you just knew. Toni Storm grabbed Ember Moon's leg back out of the ring, beat her up a bit on the outside, threw her to the wolves inside the ring. And then, yeah, they all kind of just laid in on Ember Moon. So Toni Storm turns heel. She did say that she was going to come back to NXT, be a different character sort of thing. We are seeing that here. I mean, it's a bit of a jockey for position, because even after War Games, no matter whatever team wins, Candice LeRae, Toni Storm, Dakota Kai, these are all names at the top of the women's division now, all as heels. So they are going to have to jockey for that position, especially against the face champion of Io Shirai. But yeah, that was a really decent match to start off the show. NXT flexing their muscles, showing how good their women's division is one more time. Next up, we had a recap of what happened last week with Finn Balor coming out, Kings of NXT approaching him, Undisputed Era returning, and Undisputed Era came to the ring. And obviously, we knew we were going to get this match on the show today. Pete Dunne versus one of the Undisputed Era members in the War Games Advantage match. So who's going to come out first in the War Games? Kyle O'Reilly put himself forward very strong. He said, this has to be me, sort of thing. And I was even wondering why it has to be him, like he said. But I remember, I think it was when Kyle O'Reilly went to confront the Kings of NXT, it was actually Pete Dunne that came out and pretended like he was going to be alongside him until Pete Dunne turned on Kyle O'Reilly. So made perfect sense in the end. The whole of the Undisputed Era were on board of Kyle O'Reilly joining, also should I say, taking on Pete Dunne for the match. So that was what we were going to get later on in the night. Next up, we had Timothy Thatcher versus Kushida. We had some of Timothy Thatcher's students backstage watching the match. We had Tommaso Ciampa out sitting on the entranceway on a steel chair watching the match, which kind of took Timothy Thatcher's attention kind of early, if you want to put it like that, because obviously he knew he was being watched by someone that's potentially after him. Depending what you're into in terms of stylistically, technical wrestling, this would be the match for you. This was an absolute clinic put on by Kushida and Timothy Thatcher. A real learning of technical wrestling, submission wrestling, mat-based wrestling. Not completely my kind of thing, truth be told, but I can definitely acknowledge the skill level that goes into what these men were doing. And obviously, like I say, Tommaso Ciampa sitting ringside was very much what kind of took Timothy Thatcher's attention. And in the end, because of that, Kushida did get the win, which kind of annoyed Thatcher. Ciampa walked off saying to the camera, you know, have I got his attention now, sort of thing. So I guess we are looking forward maybe to a Ciampa Thatcher match at TakeOver, yet to be announced, but that could be what's in the pipeline. We then had Kevin Owens, who was on commentary, filling in for Wade Barrett. He had an installment of the KO show where his guest was Leon Ruff, the North American champion. And he was telling Leon Ruff was still very much, you know, happy-go-lucky. I'm so happy to be here. I'm just so happy to be champion. I'm so grateful. And Kevin Owens was like, no, you need to be more, you know, grizzled, more like you deserve that championship because you won it. You've beaten Johnny Gargano twice. You need to kind of shout more about it. You need to be more feared. There's the hundreds of men backstage after you, blah, blah, blah. He was really gassing up Leon Ruff. And Leon Ruff was like, yeah, like, you know, I am that guy. He got up and started shouting and everything. And right at this moment, I thought, this is perfect opportunity for the sadistic Kevin Owens to come out. While this guy's all amping himself up and getting excited, Kevin Owens just comes out, pop-up power bomb straight into the mat. You know, I need Kevin Owens in NXT. I need that guy back as well, that crazy, sadistic kind of guy. And I thought this was it. I thought this was him turning on Leon Ruff, you know, adding himself to this picture of the North American Championship. It wasn't the case. Leon Ruff was still very much excited. He mentioned Johnny Gargano's name again. Kevin Owens, obviously very comedic. We know what Kevin Owens is all about. He said, oh, well, you know, you've said Johnny Gargano now. He's going to come out. And sure, Johnny Gargano did come out. Johnny Gargano came out ranting and raving. He mentioned Damian Priest. Kevin Owens was like, oh, you've said it now. This is the WWE. We know he's going to come out. Damian Priest came out. And then last but not least, as these guys were all still going at it, one at each other, Kevin Owens was like, oh, only if we had like someone like a Teddy Long to come out and make a match and all of this kind of stuff. And then William Regal comes out and says, you know, at wargames, at TakeOver wargames, it's going to be Leon Ruff, Johnny Gargano, and Damian Priest, triple threat match for the North American Championship player. So he played up to it a bit. So yeah, we're going to get that match. Like I said, I would absolutely love Kevin Owens to be on NXT. And I was really hoping for some type of angle, even when Undisputed Era came out earlier in the show, I was hoping for some type of angle that meant that Kevin Owens is going to get into a feud with somebody on the show and stick around. I was literally waiting for it all show. Never happened. This was the closest he got to even being in ring in that sense. So yeah, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. I just hope they find something for him on SmackDown. But yeah, TakeOver, we are getting that triple threat match. Who do you guys think is going to win? Does Leon Ruff retain? I mean, it will be saying something if Leon Ruff retained. And slowly, week by week, we are seeing a bit more from him. And if in my opinion, he doesn't look nervous. He is playing a character of, oh yeah, like I'm just a happy young guy that's happy to be here and all of this stuff. But he doesn't look nervous. He looks like very sure of what he's doing. I would love to see him retain. That would be the upset of upsets if he retains in a triple threat match against those two. But yeah, it'll be great to hear what you guys think about who's going to come out on top in that match. That's going to be a very good match. That might be one of the best matches on the night, to be honest, with those two guys, or three guys, sorry. Right. Before we continue with today's review, guys, if you are enjoying the review, I need you to do one thing: smash the like button. It thoroughly helps our channel. I thoroughly appreciate it. So yeah, please, if you haven't already, if you're watching on Facebook or you're watching on YouTube or you're gonna watch this back, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Right. Next up, Cameron Grimes versus Jake Atlas. So they kind of positioned this as, Cameron Grimes is trying to get back to himself after all the horror stuff that he's been through, this, that, and the other. It was just a bit of a nothing match. They gave Jake Atlas like the jobber entrance. He was already in the ring and all that kind of stuff. You just knew it wasn't going to last long. You just knew it was a bit inconsequential. And in the end, Cameron Grimes did win fairly quickly with the cave-in. While he was celebrating, Dexter Lumis came back onto the apron out of nowhere. They were showing clips on the Titron of the haunted house match that they had at Halloween Havoc. And for like every scene that happened with Cameron Grimes, Dexter Lumis had done like a little drawing. He's an artist. He done a little drawing which accompanied it, sort of thing. And yeah, all of a sudden he was carrying like a bag. He pulled out a strap from the bag, and yeah, he signaled to Cameron Grimes that a strap match or something like that. Cameron Grimes said, "No, I'm not getting tied to you," and ran away. Later on came to fruition from a backstage segment that William Regal has made for TakeOver a strap match between Dexter Lumis and Cameron Grimes. I'm a bit bored of these two together. I like Cameron Grimes, but like I said a couple of weeks ago, I think Dexter Lumis has reached his ceiling now because we've had the Halloween type match, the scary kind of match, which is his character's made for. We've had that. So I'm not really sure, and it's a bit of a shame because he was on a bit of a roll before he got injured. He probably was going to win that North American ladder match that he had a couple takeovers ago. So I don't know. I'm not really into it personally. Cameron Grimes, I think, should be moving on to somebody else. And didn't Lumis have a strap match not too long ago on NXT with somebody? I'm sure he did. I can't quite remember who it was against. But yeah, it's for me. It's not for me. Let me just put it that way. It's not for me. Right. We had Rhea Ripley come out to cut a promo, and a lot of people thought that, following the hug with Io Shirai last week, she's going to come out and cut a promo about her future this week, that this is it. This is Rhea Ripley saying goodbye. But she came out and said, no, I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere, blah, blah, blah. She still after the NXT Women's Championship. Okay. Okay. I mean, she is very believable if she's to win it. I just don't see her winning it again. And I think she has to move onto like something new as well, main roster. And she's not going to be we always talk about people that go to the main roster are casualties and stuff like that. She won't be a casualty on the main roster. I'm very sure of that. She will fit straight in. But I think NXT wise, she's done. I really do think she's done. Candice LeRae, Toni Storm, Dakota Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez came out, interrupted her speech, and they were saying, look, you said you're going to win. You didn't win. You said you're going to put away Io. You didn't put away Io. We do what we say we're going to do. Raquel Gonzalez came out with Io Shirai draped over her shoulder. And then Rhea Ripley went to kind of chase up these guys. She took out Raquel Gonzalez early. Raquel Gonzalez got back into the ring and like speared her into the corner before Rhea Ripley kind of just got beaten down by everybody. Man, I just love Raquel Gonzalez and Rhea Ripley. I just love the size of those two going at each other. So yeah, that was my highlight of all of this. I think it becomes pretty obvious now who the other War Games team is going to be. Shotzi is captaining that team, and I think it is going to be Ember Moon, because obviously she's got beef with Toni Storm now. Rhea Ripley, who's I guess got beef with all of those guys, and Io Shirai, who's the women's champion, who has now been taken out by those guys. So Shotzi and Ember and Rhea and Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae, Toni Storm, and Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. I think that's going to be a really good match, and I can't wait to see it. It should be really, really good. We had a couple of little mini segments. One that I was very, very happy to see, and one that I was very intrigued seeing. The first one happened in the ring. Everrise came out for a match. They were completely decimated and torn apart. The grizzled young veterans have returned. Great to see them. I am a big fan of Zach Gibson. Zach Gibson, James Drake. It was just so good to see them, you know, Liverpool's #1 grizzled, all of that, like soon to be. I'm proper into Zach Gibson. So yeah, I can't wait to see them. And NXT tag division needs tag teams. Now, obviously, the belts are currently on a heel team in Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch, but they may drop it before it gets around to these guys eventually. So yeah, grizzled young veterans back in NXT. And then we had the intriguing segment, Xia Li and Boa. We've seen them in recent weeks. They've gone missing ultimately from NXT and the Performance Center. They were being driven in a car where they were being driven to meet the old man that had we'd seen with Boa recently in NXT. And then they were kind of introduced to whoever this mysterious man or woman, I think it's a woman that they mentioned before. Guys, who do you think this is? What do you think is going on here? I love the way this is kind of shot like a film, and you know, they were speaking, I guess, their native tongue, which is probably Mandarin or something. I really like the way it was all put together, but I'm very intrigued. If it's a woman, I mean, we've heard of some new possible signees, some still free agents around the place. I mean, they've said it's a woman, but when I first saw it and I just thought of cinematically how this is all being put together, I thought of Karrion Kross, because I know he's very much into that. And I know he is more or less back fighting fit now. You know, he might be waiting for a slot. He might be waiting for Finn Balor to be back on TV before he kind of returns. Maybe he's still rehabbing a bit, but Karrion Kross is more or less all right now. The shoulder or whatever it was that he hurt, the arm, is good. He's good to go. So very intrigued on what Boa and Xia Li are into. Put your thoughts down below in the comments if you want to let me know any of your theories or what you think is going on there. Last but not least, in the main event, we had Pete Dunne versus Kyle O'Reilly. This was the War Games Advantage ladder match. Bloody hell, this was a match. This could have been on TakeOver itself as its own match. They could have done this match before War Games and then got into the War Games cage. Like literally, this match was so good. Very technical in places, still very brutal and nasty in places. There was a spot where Pete Dunne, was it a suplex through the ladder that was bridged from the ring to the barricade. People being kicked off ladders, pushed off ladders, power bombed onto ladders. Nasty. Very, very nasty. Very nasty match. And to round it off, to end it, Kyle O'Reilly was climbing the ladder and somebody, a masked man, came in and pushed over the ladder. Now, Pat McAfee said he wasn't going to be at NXT, that he was going to be watching from home. So he wasn't on the show. But I'm pretty sure the mask that the person was wearing was the same mask that Pat McAfee wore when he was helping Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan win the tag team championships. I'm pretty sure the mask is the same. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see, does that person turn out to be Pat McAfee? We never saw their face. There was no reveal afterwards. The person just disappeared. Is it somebody else? I'm still waiting to see where Austin Theory is popping up. We haven't seen him since he quit NXT. Talking about masks and Austin Theory, you know, there was a segment we saw backstage where, because Indy Hartwell, she had been put in a neck brace, she had been taken to the car by Candice LeRae. Johnny Gargano was driving the car. Indy Hartwell was in the neck brace in the back. We saw that, but she was sitting next to another person in a Scream mask. Now, we know initially that was meant to be Indy Hartwell, or she was the person in the Scream mask initially. Is there two people in Scream masks? People did notice this online and said this online, you know, when it happened at Halloween Havoc, saying that the physiques of the two different people in the Scream masks were different. Is this Austin Theory? Is this somebody else? The whole Scream mask thing now, I just think is a bit. I don't mind them being this mysterious figure, but the Scream mask is a bit for me personally. But yeah, who knocked over Kyle O'Reilly from the ladder? Who's on the screen in the Scream mask behind Johnny Gargano in the car? Guys, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. But yeah, that was NXT. Decent show, like I said. I was quite happy with how it went. It's still low in terms of entertainment, but we know we're always going to get very solid matches, good angles built up, and always building towards what will be a fantastic takeover. So I'm looking forward to takeover next weekend. Put down below in the comments what were your favorite bits of NXT and all of that. Smash the like button if you enjoyed this video, and if you're new here, welcome to the channel. Remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you get notified each and every time I drop a new video. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon.